I'm thrilled to be joined today by Tami Bowling of Metavivors of New Jersey. Tami, thanks for joining me.
Sure, happy to be here.
Tami, tell me about your experience having been diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer.
I was 41 years old, in great health, with no history of breast cancer in my family. When I went for a routine mammogram and they saw that it didn't match my baseline, I had only even had one mammogram in my life. And after many tests, it was determined that the breast cancer had already spread outside and moved into my liver. And this made it stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And it has been quite a journey over the last 5 years, but I am truly grateful for every day. And I have a dream every night that scientists will have the research tools they need to come up with a cure, or at least make this a chronic illness. My children are 7 and 10, and I want to be around to see them grow up. That's why research is critical.
What I would like to ask you about is, some people think of breast cancer as a disease that there is genetic history, but as you've described, this was a surprise, and there was no reason for you to think that you would develop breast cancer at the young age of 41. I would like your input or your perspective regarding advice, regarding input for all women. And I don't want to leave men out either, because there is male breast cancer, but let's leave that aside for a moment. Let's focus on your experience. Do you have advice for women? Is there more proactive things they can do? Can they find these resources on your Facebook group? Tell me what kind of communication and what kind of embrace that people can increase to raise their own awareness about this.
My advice to women is to really know and be comfortable with your body, and to not wait until your first mammogram to do a self-exam. You should be doing self-exams from the age of 20, 25, and just knowing if you notice a lump or if something feels different, you should call the doctor, and you should be your own advocate. There are way too many people that I've seen under the age of 40 having breast cancer, and you think that it can't happen to you until it does. And that's what happened with me as well. And when it is time for mammograms, if you have history in your family, certainly start going at 35 and make sure that you do it on an annual basis. But I think it's also just important to know that when you have stage 0 breast cancer, that means that you have precancerous cells in your breast. And that's why most people with that would do a lumpectomy. But stage 0 breast cancer can and does come back as stage 4. It is not sequential. Most people think, oh, well, it'll just come back as stage 1 or stage 2. No, it doesn't always work like that. And that's why if we can find a cure or more treatments for stage 4 breast cancer, we can solve all the stages.
Thank you for that point. I'd like to back up a second, if you don't mind. Can you help me demystify what metastatic breast cancer is? Of course, we refer to this as MBC.
Metastatic breast cancer means that the cancer has actually left the breast and traveled to other parts of the body, primarily the lungs, liver, bones, and brain. And when that happens, once the breast cancer leaves the breast, that's what makes it stage 4, and that's what makes it incurable. Nobody really dies of early stage breast cancer. It's curable. You can have a mastectomy, surgery, chemo, radiation, and there's a light at the end of that tunnel, right? If it's stage 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, it's still in your breast. And once it spreads, there is no cure. And right now, only 5% of overall breast cancer research funding goes to stage 4 research. And that's a huge problem, because 20 to 30% of early stage breast cancers, even after a mastectomy and even after successful treatment, those early stage breast cancers return as stage 4, and then there's no cure. Once someone is diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, the average life expectancy is 2 to 3 years. And we need more treatment options to turn this from a deadly disease into a chronic one. And that's exactly what Metavivor Research and Support does. They solely fund research for stage 4 metastatic breast cancer research, and 100% of donations go to MBC Research.
Thank you for that. I think it's very important to hear those details. Tami Bowling of Metavivors of New Jersey, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for helping me bring awareness and hopefully drive funds for metastatic breast cancer.
Thank you. I mean, you're doing great work, and we're happy to help.